Hey, Kevin McGary here, and my channel, Y'all Woked Up. If you're a follower of Y'all Woked Up, you're a subscriber, please continue to support us. If you're not, please subscribe. Y'all Woked Up YouTube and Rumble. Hey, listen, I'm going to do a little bit of freestyling, okay? Because this is beyond a 1 minute short. So let's just freestyle a little bit on a particular subject. The particular subject has to do with a couple of states. We've actually seeing a pattern of states that are jumping in on this. Well, let's just talk about what it is. We have Minnesota, Michigan, California, and they're leading the way with this practice of allowing women to have their babies and then actually decide whether they want to keep them. So they're actually doing, after the baby is here, they're actually killing the baby if the mother decides, I don't think I want the baby. So this is actually a practice called infanticide. This coincides with a recent article I wrote that actually, I talk about how the ancient rituals of child sacrifices via Moloch and Baal are just horrible. I mean, basically, they would put living children in the belly, a burning belly of these large idol gods, and burn these children alive. And that was just, I can't imagine the horrible screams and everything else that would be associated with such a horrific ritual. But nevertheless, that was done. Now, here's the thing. We think about Moloch and Baal sacrifices of ancient times, biblical times. And then we think, well, I'm surely, I'm so glad we've come well beyond those times. Societies and cultures have evolved well beyond that, and such barbaric and savage things that were done back in the day during these ancient rituals. Oh, whew, I'm so glad that we're done with those now. Not so fast. In these three states, they will literally kill and dismember the babies after they're born. This is already voted on by and large by these states, and this is now legal in these states to actually do these horrific practices, practices similar to the ancient rituals, but in my opinion, actually much, much worse. You think, well, how do you get worse than having a child burn alive? Well, how about this? How about the child being alive and being able to feel pain, but while they're in pain, literally dismembering them piece by piece? Yeah. And then the audacious move to sell the various parts piece by piece to the highest bidder. That literally is what's happening today. Today. Beyond the ancient rituals of throwing children, as that's not horrific enough. Imagine literally taking apart children while they can feel pain, piece by piece by piece, dismembering them, and then selling their body parts. That's what we have today. In my opinion, that's worse than uh, all of it's horrible and demonic and evil. But what we're doing today, folks, is worse than anything that's ever been done to children. It's purely barbaric. It's demonic. It is absolutely brutal and horrific. And it seems like it's misplaced because it doesn't seem like it belongs in civilized society. But yet here we are. So so here's the deal. We actually have states throughout, the United States that are now beginning to take on these practices of killing children and infanticide, legalizing infanticide. And so where does this come from? Well, this comes from people like, the eugenicists of our past. People like Charles Darwin and his first cousin, Francis Galton, who decided that because other ethnicities were infringing upon their white supremacy and infringing upon their population growth, they felt that Caucasians were fully evolved, and so Caucasian European whites were fully evolved, and they felt that other ethnicities were not, and therefore these other ethnicities and or people with any infirmities could be summarily killed even after birth. So they started this practice they call eugenics, which means well born, well born. And so that's where eugenics came from. It was literally started from white supremacy, this mindset of white supremacy and racism, believing that every other ethnicity is less than. So when that became in practice, we saw the worst atrocities in human history via Hitler, Stalin, Lenin, Mao, Mussolini. Over 120 million innocent lives were killed, destroyed by virtue of this mindset of eugenics. Okay? So then it comes to America. And it comes to America by virtue of Margaret Sanger. She was a eugenist and part of the Eugenicist Society. And she was the founder of Planned Parenthood. So she decided, look, I hate blacks. This is what she said. I hate blacks. We can just thoroughly exterminate the black populations. So she started Planned Parenthood. And long story short, so now we are where we are with Planned Parenthood and other abortuaries across the country that are practicing the Darwinistic mindset of white supremacy and racism, but somehow they veil that from the populace. And somehow the populace, the average American citizen doesn't understand what's going on. This is part of a depopulationist movement that started with eugenics. They want to depopulate other ethnicities primarily. And then, of course, we had Margaret Sanger. We had Bill Gates' father, who was a well-known eugenicist as well. And then now we have Bill Gates. We have Klaus Schwab. We have Noah Harari, and all of these others who want to depopulate. And so their way of doing that, and the way of us participating in this horrible evil, is to go ahead and actually start practicing infanticide. Practicing infanticide, worse than the ancient rituals to idol gods of the past. So we are where we are with that. What I'm calling on are for people that have either a faithful or a moral foundation to stand against these governors in these states, to stand against this legalized abuse, horrific, gruesome, savage abuse of children. To stand against the white supremacy and racism that continues to proliferate to this very day by virtue of these practices of infanticide and abortion. It's not even close, folks. You can't excuse your way out of it. This is the history of how we came to abortion. It came by virtue of eugenicists, Charles Darwin, Francis Galton, his first cousin, who actually proliferated these ideas by virtue of their conception of white supremacy and racism, the hate for other ethnicities. It's an inconvenient truth, but it is the truth, and it's indisputable. I encourage you to go ahead and look at it. If you want, you can actually get my book. I fully document everything about that horrible atrocity. It's called Woked Up. The book is called Woked Up. And it's fully footnoted, so you can get everything you need to know about what Charles Darwin and his first cousin said and how they came about with this evil scheme and this mindset to depopulate of other ethnicities, how they wanted to protect their white supremacy, why they were white supremacists. All of this is fully disclosed in this book, Woked Up, and you can get it yourself. You can also find some of my writings. I've had a recent article in The Stream that talks about how the ancient sacrifices of Molech and Baal, they're not gone. They're still here. We're still having child sacrifices to this very day. Now, what I'm calling for people of moral character, people of faith foundations, to stand against the child sacrifice of our day. So the question is for you. Can I count on you? Do you have a moral compass? Are you a faithful person? A person of faith? If you are, then you have no other recourse than to stand with me against this evil scourge. I hope you will. All right. So this is a quick freestyle for you from Kevin McGary. God bless you, and I hope to see you soon. Take care now.